Yeah, did you know this movie was coming out? No? Yeah, I don't blame you. You can blame the marketing, or lack thereof. Elio. So Elio is the 29th movie from Pixar Animation Studios. We're almost at 30. And in this movie, we got a kid named Elio. He's recently lost his parents, so he's now under the care of his aunt, who's in the military space division. But young Elio wants to get abducted by aliens, so he's abducted by aliens. And he's drawn into this adventure where he befriends a young alien named Glorden, and they become close friends, but Glorden's father, Lord Grygon, wants to take over the universe, and so he has to be stopped. And thus our Pixar space adventure ensues. Now, I'll be honest, from the trailers that we got for this movie leading up to it, I really pegged it as a one and done. Like, oh, I'll see the movie once and I'll never really want to watch it again. Because compared to everything else that's coming out this summer, I wasn't super excited for this movie. And I walked out of this movie pretty much going, yeah, I was right. I don't necessarily think there was much wrong with this movie, but at the same time, I don't feel the urge to watch it again. I do like our title character though. Elio Solis is voiced by Jonas Kibraeb. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, he's a really relatable kid. Reminded me a lot of Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. I'll dive more into that later, but it's because he's the odd kid out. He gets picked on by some bullies, not to mention the fact that he has a lone guardian who's not his mother. His aunt Olga, who's voiced by Zoe Saldana, she's relatable too because kinda like Nani, she gets this kid plopped in her lap who she now has to deal with. She didn't really ask to be this kid's mother figure, so she's gonna be a bit overwhelmed. I did feel bad for her. I felt bad for Elio too, because the situation they're in, yeah, neither of them asked for it. It's hard not to be like, oh man, that sucks for you guys. Glorden is voiced by Remy Edgerly, and I thought he was pretty funny. In fact, I would say he's the funniest character in the movie. He made me laugh the most. His dialogue is pretty good.
Hi, Dad. I'm a bargaining chip.
No, say the other thing.
Oh, help me, Father.
Quiet, you.
And he's got a relatable problem as well. His chemistry with Elio, you like them as friends, is your average basic Pixar duo. Nothing you haven't seen before. But I'll say Grygon, who's voiced by Brad Garrett, he didn't really seem like that threatening of a villain. And I get that this is a kid's movie, but this is like a really kid's movie. So the villain's not gonna come off as this big menacing threat. From the get-go, he seems like the kind of guy who, if you just sit down and talk with him, he'd come around. He'd find reason, just as long as you say the right things. Point is, don't go into this movie expecting some sort of big space epic. This isn't Star Wars, it's not even WALL-E, really. Because like I said, this movie is really meant for smaller kids. I just looked this up on my phone and I was surprised to learn that this movie is in fact rated PG. Because really, except for like one thing that does happen in the movie, I couldn't think of anything that warranted a PG rating. I feel like this movie gets as close to G as PG can. That is to say, this movie is cute, lukewarm honestly. I found it to be a bit predictable. I didn't see anything really special about it. It was just fine. Like the design of everything, the art design and the character design, it all has this really squishy look to it. For lack of a better word, everything's glorpy. I know that might sound a bit weird coming out of my mouth, but that's the word that came to mind. It reminded me of the movie Soul, where everything's really pristine and everything has a system, everything's organized. But the alien characters, they reminded me a lot of the aliens from Lilo and Stitch. There's a council, and this is something that Babe clocked before I did, but I absolutely agree, is that yeah, you could tell this movie is heavily inspired by Lilo and Stitch, and I'm talking about the original, of course. Not just in the design of the aliens, but the little kid, Elio, who even shares most of the letters in his name with Lilo. He and his aunt are like Lilo and Nani, but instead of the alien coming down to Earth, he goes up to the aliens instead. It's as if when the filmmakers were making this movie, they realized, oh my god, we're way too close to being a ripoff of Lilo and Stitch, so we gotta change some stuff. This is another thing that Babe clocked before me. To be fair, he's really smart. But he could tell this movie went through quite a few rewrites, which is absolutely true, by the way. Because the fact is, this movie was delayed quite a few times. It was supposed to come out last year. There was even a trailer. The original trailer for this movie was released in 2023. If you go back and watch that trailer now, you will find that it is completely different from what we got. Grygon wasn't a villain, he was part of the council. I think Olga was Elio's mom. Even the aspect ratio is different. It's crazy. And it is pretty glaringly obvious when you watch this movie, if you do. You can tell that it was originally gonna be something else, kinda like Wish. And as is the same case with Wish, I feel like what this movie was originally gonna be might have been better. I've noticed that Disney has been doing this with their animated movies of late, putting them through delays and rewrites for some reason. Maybe they want too much creative control over their movies. I don't know. Again, this movie's not bad. It's enjoyable, especially for little kids. If you're a parent and you have little kids, take them to see this. They'll enjoy it. They might even enjoy it a lot. But I just don't see this movie having as much of an impact as, say, the original Lilo and Stitch or WALL-E. And I'll say that is partially because of the terrible marketing for this movie. I'll tell you what's gonna happen with Elio. This is gonna be Transformers 1 syndrome, kind of. The marketing for it wasn't really good, so not a lot of people are gonna go see it, and therefore it it won't perform that well in the box office, even though it probably deserves to, because it's just not a bad movie. Granted, I don't think Elio is nearly as good as Transformers 1, but it's just a similar situation I'm finding here. Right down to the sci-fi genre. There's actually some pretty good sci-fi references in this movie. I spotted a reference to Terminator 2 Judgment Day and Alien, references that'll go over little kids' heads, but at least their parents will be like, ah, that was clever.
I understood that reference.
The music in this movie, composed by Rob Simonson, was pretty good, if not pretty generic. You know, it's your basic kids sci-fi beep boop kind of music. I didn't really pick up on a main theme or leitmotif, unlike WALL-E, so honestly it is kind of forgettable. In the end, Elio is okay. It's a perfectly serviceable summer movie for families with little kids, which of course is the target audience of this movie, so there you go. If you're not with a little kid, I can't imagine why you would see this movie. I'm sure you want to save up your movie ticket money for when Megan 2.0 comes out next week. The story in Elio is good. There actually are some pretty good emotional moments in there. One even made me tear up a little bit, not gonna lie. And if a movie did that, then I can't say it's forgettable. The characters were good, the script was good, the visuals were fun, but like I said, I don't really see myself wanting to watch this movie again anytime soon. It's a one and done. For Elio, I will say, wait until this movie's at a matinee price, then go see it. There is a little post-credits thing that made Babe and I both go, what was that? It was funny. I recommend sticking around for it. Honestly, probably one of the funniest, weirdest post-credits things I've ever seen in a movie. So, Elio, have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna try Undertale again. What with Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 finally being out, Babe's convinced me to give Undertale and that franchise another try. So once more onto the breach. Peace!